Hi, Marianne here, and I'm glad you could join me. In this video, I'm going to spend a little time talking about my self-mastery intensive. And I'm going to begin by citing a quote. This quote is one that I know you are aware of, unless you've been living under a rock. And that quote is, "Be the change that you wish to see in the world," by Mahatma Gandhi, one of his most famous quotes. And I was thinking about that quote recently because over the years I have seen it used in so many places, in so many ways around the world. And I was wondering, what is obviously it's a very powerful quote, but I was thinking about, what is specifically the universal appeal of that set of words. And I concluded that there's a couple of factors involved. First and foremost, it has universal appeal because it's conveying a universal truth that you and I are the agents of change in this reality. We're the co-creators of this reality. That's a universal truth, therefore it's universally appealing. And it appeals even to those who may not even fully grasp the meaning, all the nuances of those words. But quotes that have universal appeal are those typically that convey a universal truth in such a succinct and concise way that people automatically are drawn to it, because it either awakens within them this knowledge or serves as a powerful reminder to those who are already aware of this vital truth. And not only does it convey that we are the agents of change and the co-creators of this reality, but we're responsible because we are the co-creators of this reality. And beyond that, it implies, albeit pretty cryptically, the means by which we can accomplish this, by becoming the change. Well, as I said, that's an implied means of accomplishing this, but it's pretty cryptic. Which brings me to another famous quote with universal appeal, because it too conveys a universal truth. And this quote's by Albert Einstein, and it's one of his most famous. And that quote is, "The significant problems in this world cannot be solved by the level of thinking that created them." Okay, well, now we have a quote. Again, it's implied that we are the agents of change. It's up to you and me to make any significant changes that we wish to make. And it conveys at least a hint of, a little less cryptic, how to go about it. Changing our thinking. And if those two quotes are the what of how to bring about significant change, not only in our own lives, but in reality, then what are the real how-tos of it? How do we go about that? How do we be the change we wish to see in the world? How do we change our level of thinking and awareness? Okay, it's like, yeah, I've got to do that, but how do we do that? Well, if those are the whats, self-mastery is the how-to. And related directly to Einstein's quote, significant change begins by changing our thoughts, the way we think about things. Well, okay, so how do we do that? How do we get to a place of new thought towards new creation? The kind of creation, because all creations begin with thought. So how do we get to that place of new thought for the purpose of new creation? Well, in order to do that, we have to increase our levels of awareness and come to understand vital truths about ourselves. The vital truths of what we really are. What reality really is, how reality really works, how this mind-body complex really works, what we're really here to do. Which in turn those are the gateways to higher levels of awareness, because they're higher order truths about ourselves. Knowledge and understanding of vital truths increase our awareness. Increased awareness leads to new thought, new modes of thought. And that begins with a whole new view of what we really are, what reality really is, how everything works together, so that we can attract new thoughts and begin creating anew. And that's the foundational, the first phase of the self-mastery intensive, is introducing and or reinforcing within you and expanding your understanding of vital truths. Vital truths through which we can begin approaching our day-to-day lives and functioning through. That's how a new reality will unfold. And self-mastery is the means by which we do that. And so, as I said, the first phase of the process is becoming familiar, deeply, intimately understanding vital truths. And from that place, when we have new eyes, who was it, Marcel Proust, who said the voyage of discovery lies not in finding new lands, but in having new eyes. And once we are solid and begin applying those truths in our day-to-day lives, we open ourselves more and more and more to even higher order levels of knowledge and awareness. The self-mastery process is one that feeds on itself. That's the beauty of this work. The more we come to know, the more we come to know. And vital truths are essential. That's the first phase of this program. Beyond that, we are to become the masters of this mind-body complex and all of its aspects. Our thoughts, our emotions, our physical body, deep understandings of what it really is, what these things really are, and how they really work. Our energy centers and energy fields, deep understandings of what they really are and what they're really for. and learning how to restore them to their peak performance levels, all of these aspects of ourselves. And in doing that, by restoring the mind-body complex and all of its aspects to their peak performance levels, we activate the capacity within us to more fully receive higher order knowledge, access to higher order energies and creational capacities, so-called special abilities. Another aspect of self-mastery is gaining mastery over the various areas of our lives, our relationships, our work situations, our choice of work, our choice of who we are in relationship with, from higher order understandings of how things really work. And why, beyond just 3D explanations for maybe having a less than satisfying work or job, for example, what's really going on, so that we can address those kinds of situations fully equipped, well informed as to how to deal with them, because every problem or difficulty, when fully investigated and understood from a causal perspective, holds its own solution, whether it be in a work situation or in a relationship or in a home environment. The most difficult aspect of this self-mastery process, and where many fall by the wayside, is the process of restoring the mind-body complex to its peak performance levels. And the greatest difficulties come in dealing with our thoughts, and even more difficult than that is when we start dealing with the emotions, the subconscious. That's the real nitty-gritty work, cleaning up all of the distortions that we carry, false beliefs, attachments, ego identifications, dealing with issues such as core wounds that we received in childhood, perhaps even from past lives that we've carried forward. Being able to identify and know how to responsibly address these things. Dealing with our shadow aspects, core wound being one of those. Inner child issues and how to address those issues. That's the toughest part of the self-mastery process. which is one of the fundamental reasons that I offer this program. First and foremost, because in all of my years of research and study, and if you want to know more about all of the areas into which my research has extended, it's quite extensive, and you can get more information about that on the About page of my website, and I'll provide a link below if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're watching this on my site, just go to the navigation bar, click on the About button, and you can get information on that. Not only that, but how what led me in my life to come to this work, how I got there, and kind of how this program came to be. But I spent 22 years researching and exploring and participating in workshops and programs, working with teachers and coaches, in combination doing my own work and researching and participating in various programs and so forth. And I can't tell you how much valuable information that I came across. But one thing I kept finding over and over again, particularly when I was taking a program rather than working on a specific area, was that I never found, and to this day, the same experience, that I would walk away from these programs feeling, knowing that something was still missing. And so in developing this program, it's not that I'm see myself as anyone special or particularly courageous or anything of the sort. I developed this program first and foremost for my own use, for applying, being able to have all in one place, all of the multiple elements of the self-mastery process under one roof, so to speak. Pulling it together, assimilating, organizing. And after years of doing this for myself, as well as helping others go through this process, developed even a specific sequencing of the various elements for optimal results. And of course, this is not a cookie cutter process by any stretch of the imagination. Your self-mastery process is your own. What this program brings to the table is a tested sequential flow and compilation of all of the elements, all of the key baseline elements of the self-mastery process. And what I personally bring to the process is serving as your guide and facilitator. This work is yours. But what I bring to the process is the ability to, as an empath and intuitive, to attune to your specific needs and situation in going through the self-mastery process, and then making recommendations of tools, techniques, strategies, practices attuned specifically to you and your self-mastery process. Not for doing the work for you, but these mechanisms that will support you, help you become self-supportive in your self-mastery efforts and to get maximum return from your efforts. And results that keep building and building and building. Your momentum builds. Because the self-mastery process is not one in which you have to wait until you've, quote, completed the program. In fact, the work of self-mastery is never completed. It's an ongoing process, not just in this version of yourself in this lifetime, but throughout all versions of yourself in all lifetimes, depending upon your levels of awareness of what's really going on in these different realities and these different densities and dimensions. But for those of us who are awake right now, right here in this reality, seeking meaningful change, self-mastery is at the epicenter of all that. Because unless or until we become masters of ourselves and therefore of what we're creating, and responsible, taking responsibility for that, then significant change within our reality and even within our lives is not going to occur. Just think about, throughout history, how many millions of people, well-meaning, courageous, well-intentioned, compassionate, caring people who have put their lives literally on the line to make significant change in this reality over the course of millennia. But that's never come to fruition. Why is that? You know, some headway has been made, but as a whole, looking back and even into just recorded history, society hasn't progressed. It's been continually regressing, and we're in this downward spiral. A regressive, dominant evolution cycle that just keeps spiraling downward. And most of those, we'll call them the powers that be, the puppeteers in our reality currently, it's all about promoting technology. That technology equates to progress. Really? Well, you probably don't agree with that either. That yes, technology as a whole has brought more convenience to our lives, in many ways has simplified our lives, and I'm by no means a Luddite. I do not condemn across the board technology. However, having said that, those who create it, put it into the world, are regressive dominant beings. And so whatever primary, whatever good might come from most of these technologies is lost, hijacked. Think about how many have come up with cures for various diseases, from cancer to you name it. And as soon as that knowledge tries to rear its head, it gets squashed or hijacked and used in not so good ways. So, it is up to you and me, those of us who are serious seekers of truth, who are serious about making meaningful changes not only in our own lives, but in reality at large. Self-mastery is at the epicenter of that. And this work isn't for everybody. It's very time and energy focused and demanding. It can be extremely difficult at times, emotionally painful, especially when in the early stages of clearing out all the distortions that we carry, which is why so many well-intentioned people fall by the wayside. They determine that it's just too hard. They don't have enough time. They're not capable of doing this work. When in fact, now I will say that many of those that undertake this process that figure out that they just don't want to mess with it, it could mean a couple of different things. It could mean that the timing isn't right. And if that's the case, then it's going to keep coming up in their lives. They might go along for a while. Maybe things are smooth in their life right now. No major bumps in the road. But if they're meant to be doing this work, life has a funny way of keeping knocking on the door. They're gentle taps at first, and then ultimately some major things can go wrong in your life, bringing you face to face with the fact that you're meant to be addressing these issues that you've been avoiding. Another possibility for those who fall by the wayside in this work, and this happens a lot. They are serious. They know this is the work they need to do, but they don't really know how to go about it. What they need to be working on, what they need to know. The perspective and paradigm shifts that are involved. How to go through the mind-body complex restoration, even dealing with those nasty emotions, those subconscious issues, our shadow aspects. They understand that they need to do the work, but they don't know how to do it. And they likely don't have the right tools. Tools are really important. Tools that are attuned to you and your situation. Not a cookie cutter process, but tools that work for you. And there is a video that I recommend you watching that covers 5 key factors that are pivotal in undertaking this process. And they're directly proportionate to your the level of results that you achieve in undergoing this process. And in a nutshell, those 5 key factors are a deep desire to do this work. You know you're here to make significant change in this reality. You know it. And even if you're not thrilled about it, you feel compelled. You have this deep desire to move forward, to make these changes, to be able to know how to make these changes. And you know that it begins with you. The second is commitment. Being able to commit to this process. And part of commitment is having or developing self-discipline. And that's another thing, that because self-discipline is so important in this process, because there's a lot of moving parts, that what I built into the program was self-discipline, helping you self-imbue, deeply instill within yourself, and expand your level of self-discipline, because it is an integral part of this work. The fourth item that ties back into desire, your desire to do this work, and 99 out of 100 people who have a deep desire that can't be dimmed, maybe only at times, but it just keeps showing up. They have the desire because it's in alignment. It's what they're meant to be doing, and they know it because it's in alignment with core self, soul, or oversoul's intention for this version of itself in this reality at this time. So alignment of intention with desire and commitment in combination with self-discipline, and the fifth key factor. And that final key factor is having the right tools and techniques and strategies and approaches and the right perspectives and so forth, to be able to support yourself and keep yourself uplifted and progressing in the self-mastery process in ways that are attuned specifically to you, your uniqueness, and your unique needs and situation. And as I said, those 5 factors directly contribute to your level of success, the progress, the level of progress you're able to make, how quickly you advance through this work. And I speak often about advancing your progress, expediting your progress in this journey. And I'm not by any means, I want to clear this up, this isn't a race. This process unfolds in its own time. And there's so many factors involved in that, related to where you are right now in the process, whether you're just getting started, perhaps you're a seasoned traveler, pardon me, what's going on in your life, your background, the kind of conditioning that you've been functioning through, the degree of the conditioning that you've been functioning through, societal engineering, mind conditioning, DNA tampering, and all those sorts of things. But there are means by which you can expedite the process to get more from your investments of time and energy, and get stronger in the process as you move through it. And what I was saying earlier, in terms of completing the process, well, the process of self-mastery, you're talking about working in this lifetime to the best of your ability, continually striving to become master of self, and all that implies. But when you work through this process, and by the time you get to the end of the program, you don't have to wait till the end of the program. to begin seeing results. When all the right pieces, when all the pieces are in place, a specific sequence and flow of the steps you're taking, the knowledge you're getting, the work you're doing, you will start seeing results almost immediately. That's what's amazing about this work. You're not waiting to get results. Results are almost instant. So know that as difficult as things are, you will see results quickly. And that's another thing. To undergo this process is to take on change. Your life will change because your energies are going to be changing. Because you're clearing out all the gunk, taking control of your thoughts and your emotions, clearing the pathway for higher order knowledge and energies to flow through you so that you can bring them out into the world through your creations. Your energetic vibrational, not only the vibrational, the level of vibration will increase, but the type of energy that you'll be bringing into yourself will no longer be compatible in various situations in your life, current situations, current relationships. So you need to know that. To really think long and hard about that, because you will change. And if for those of you that have been going through this for a while, you know that's the truth. Some of those changes are indescribable, amazing. Some of them, maybe the ego wouldn't have sought those particular changes. So you need to know this. And Self-Mastery Intensive, as the name implies, basically compresses this process, streamlines it. And so you might see some changes very quickly. You will see some changes in fairly short order. So you need to be prepared for change. Now, the program is designed also to support you through those changes. It doesn't just leave you hanging out there. Okay, this has happened. Now what do I do about it? Because the process, this program encompasses means of helping support you through the changes that will be unfolding in your life. So, if this is something that you believe, that you feel could be right for you, I invite you to check it out. And if you're watching this video on my website, all the information is directly below this video. If you're watching it on YouTube, you'll find a link to this page below the video. Even if you're not sure that this program is right for you at this time, I invite you to really look at it. If you feel drawn to it in any way, if this video makes sense to you, if it's stirring something inside of you, then please check it out, because even if the timing isn't just right, something may occur just down the road. Things fall into place, and you'll already understand that there is a pretty solid option to support you in that. And I'll be here. Also, if you have any questions at all about the program, please please, if you're not going to, pardon me, enroll, if you're not enrolling in the forms at the bottom of the web page, then use my contact page to ask any questions you want related to the program. Just put Self-Mastery Intensive at the beginning of your message, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. But the web page includes information about what the program covers, what results you'll get, what kind of information is going to be addressed. And it doesn't cover every detail by any stretch. You'd be reading for days. But I put highlights. It covers the program structure, pricing options. And as I said, if you're interested, you know this is right for you. And there's a number of self-screening mechanisms included on the web page to help you start figuring out if this is right for you. And if you feel it is, enroll. I speak with all serious applicants. We connect either by phone or on Skype to make sure it's a really good fit, that you really understand what you're coming to. You can ask more questions before anything is set in stone. So you have nothing to lose whatsoever by reading the information, asking questions, and even enrolling. If you know this is the kind of support that you need in your process, or you're just getting started, as I said, and you don't really know where to begin. All right. Well, as I said, please feel free to contact me. I'll answer your questions and really take time to absorb. And if you need to watch this video more than once, please do. Get a sense of me, my energies. If this is the first time you've ever watched one of my videos, again, we can connect live by phone or Skype if you're serious about, seriously interested in this program and feel it's a good fit. In the meantime, I wish you well on your journey, wherever you may be, beginning, doing it for years, doesn't matter. I wish you well and look forward to seeing you again soon, and I hope to hear from you. Take care.